I owed her dinner because she didn't have sex with someone I was sure she was going to have sex with. So I bet her. I was like, I bet you give them by December.
I just had such a wild year, and it's not the sex. It was how good I felt about the sex.
I'm not going to lie, that's crazy.
I never told that story?
No, never.
Exclusive right here on Baking on Cultura.
Talk your shit, girl.
I just want to be honest.
I mean, y'all. No one's perfect, and I think I'm just fine in living in my imperfection.
That's the language I speak.
Cap. Cap. That is cap. Oh, that is cap.
Don't listen to her.
How did you guys meet?
Our first time meeting in person was
A fight.
over a man that was working at Walgreens just a couple years ago.
I really want to find him.
Bro, we have to find him. We've realized that what we've created is actually bigger than the both of us. Can we not put that energy out? Hello? Didn't we talk about words?
Seriously.
No, calm down.
My audience, they not ready.
They not ready for this.
What's up, mi gente? Welcome back to another episode on Baking on Cultura. I am your host, Victoria Jenn Rodriguez. And you know, when you are in media, shit happens, and sometimes it happens in your favor, which is exactly what happened for today's episode. Originally, I was just supposed to interview one amazing woman, but now I've got two. We've got Weezy and Mandii B, who have built an incredible media platform, literally top 1% podcast in the whole entire world, and both of them are amazing, badass businesswoman, and I cannot wait for you guys to get all the tea. Make sure your edges are together and all that jazz, because I'm warning you right now, honey, explicit language has been used. Okay? So make sure you get into it. Grab your wine, grab your tea. This is going to be a good one. Thank you both for being here, y'all.
Thank you for having us.
So, on Baking on Cultura, we like to start the show with some bonchinche, but we're going to mix it up with the both of you today. So, I've never used this card game before, and it's called Let's Fucking Date. Okay. And it's by Serena fucking Kerrigan, who literally legalized her middle name to fucking after she graduated college. Yes.
I like that.
We got to bring that up. Oh my God.
She has built a phenomenal brand. During the pandemic, she had a live dating show on Instagram. And then from there, she built out these card games and became a multimillionaire.
That's so dope.
Super dope. Latina, but when you look at her, you think she's a straight up white girl.
I'm looking at her.
I saw the blonde hair.
It was definitely giving white woman.
But she's
Serena fucking Kerrigan does sound a little bit
SFK.
It's
Blanco.
giving,
yes,
Arrow.
it does.
We'll take it,
It does.
sis.
And I think it works in her favor because she's able to blend into all the worlds.
Oh yeah, so she's
easily.
giving J-Lo.
Let's go,
J-Lo looks Latina. She does not
doesn't.
look white.
That bitch be playing an Italian
J-Lo
in her
does
film.
not-
She plays Italian, okay?
I don't think J-Lo is that passing for white, but when she played in Italian, it made it Manhattan, right?
Yeah, she played in Italian.
No, wait, was it Wedding?
One of them
she was
wedding.
Spanish.
No, she was Italian.
No, Wedding.
Oh no, she was
Wedding. The
Wedding
wedding planner.
The wedding planner. I mean, they really didn't say what national.
No, because the father
Oh
was
wait,
like,
yes, she was Italian.
Italian.
Yes, you're right.
I know.
That's such a good movie, but it's so fucked up.
She played. She went from playing an Italian to a Mexican to an Italian. Crazy.
Okay,
She's right. We do talk a lot.
you know, on Baking on Cultura, just in general, I always like to support women who are doing dope shit, living out loud, coloring outside the lines, which is why I'm bringing her up and want to use you both to play this game. So you guys are going to pick a card. Some might be scandalous, so I kind of am nervous. So hopefully it's not too crazy.
Girl, get your editor
together. You got to
together.
pick a card and answer the question that's on the card.
Okay.
You go first. Okay.
What is the weirdest thing you've heard during sex?
Of course you would pick a card like that. All right.
I'm on third base.
This one you should have drew. It's okay. No, go ahead and say what you were saying.
I tell this story all the time, and it's funny because we just brought up Italy. So my homegirl was married to this Italian guy years ago, went to Miami, and I ended up fucking his friend. And his friend was very Italian. And he said to me, he kept talking about how perfect my breasts are. So I thought he recognized that they were fake because they were brand new at the time. And I'm like, oh, like, thank you, but they're not like, they're, he's like, wait, what? These aren't your tits? I'm like, no, I just got them. And so we start fucking, right? So he's fucking me. He goes, beautiful breasts. What is the name of your doctor? I'm like, what?
As you guys are
And I said,
intimate.
Dr. Greenberg. And he goes, thank you, Dr. Greenberg, for this beautiful breast. Dog, that memory, I swear to God, I've told
No,
that
I'm
story.
not gonna lie, that's crazy.
I never told that story?
No, never.
Exclusive
I-
right
that
here on
shit-
Baking on Cultura.
That was Josie's ex-husband. His name was, the man I fucked with, Davide.
Davide. Interesante.
That is funny.
Wow. Okay.
Mine is funny. Second base. If you were to get arrested tomorrow, what
Fuck
would it
you.
be for?
I've been arrested a lot.
She's been arrested more than me.
For what?
I only got arrested once, and it wasn't even for me. It was for my friend. Um,
But okay, yeah. If you
let
think
me
of
see.
it, what would it be
If
for?
I were to get arrested tomorrow, what would it be for? Only because it almost happened to me, right? I feel like as long as the drugs are in your checked bag, you should be fine. And so coming back from Toronto, our fans, anytime we have live shows, they give us drugs. So they gave us some pre-rolls and all those things, but we were in
that's
Canada.
right.
But you know right now there's the different states with the legal shit. So as long as you fly from one state to the next where it's legal, you good. So I was like, well, it's legal in Canada, or it's legal in Toronto, it's legal in New York, I'm good. No, bitch, it's federal lines that you're crossing. So the U.S. Customs is in Toronto, and they took all my bags because, again, I have an order of protection from the last time I was arrested. And-
God, bitch.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Why is she
and
right?
so, and so
Protection.
literally
Who
the
went
only
after?
reason why I wasn't arrested from that is because I declared it. But I feel like every time I travel with my little shroom chocolates, I have in my mind that, oh, I thought it was Hershey's. I'm like practicing
Right.
in case I get in trouble for traveling
Yeah.
with shrooms. So I would say if I got arrested tomorrow, it would be for traveling with drugs.
Okay. All right. Fair.
What? Is that not a good one? You thought I would be arrested for something else? What you thought I would be arrested for?
Indecent exposure.
Oh.
I know.
See that? That sounds
Bitch,
like
I go to nude beaches. I go where I'm allowed to be naked.
Yeah, but you might cross the state line.
You know what?
Federale.
You know what? Sucking dick in a car.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think you could get in trouble for that. I just saw a person. I saw a person do that in a convertible, and someone.
I've seen that too.
You saw the video?
With the older dudes?
Yes.
I ain't like that.
Okay.
Because kids.
Okay. Oh,
Sorry.
boy. Okay.
Sorry. This
Let me
is
pick
not
a
horrible
card
decisions.
So I can participate in
Let's
this.
go.
Okay. I mean, this will be for both of you, I guess.
Okay.
It says, what was your first impression of me?
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Cute outfit.
I was gonna say that you're very bubbly. So your energy when you walked
Yeah.
into the room, like it was giving good energy.
Aw,
Clearly,
thank
that's
you.
why I
I
said I
love
was like, oh, I could do this little interview. This is cool.
Big
Let's do
hair
it.
and big teeth. Julia Roberts has that thing where she's got that big smile, big hair, and it's like,
The curls.
yeah, a lot of people, when they have a big smile, they don't show it. I literally was saying just now, off camera, like, oh my God, you make me want to whiten my teeth. I love seeing a big smile, big eyes. Like, I think that attracts people to people. Like,
Yeah.
that to me is an inviting thing when you look open and friendly. I actually
Yeah,
don't know.
you definitely inviting, friendly, and good energy.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate
Makes
that.
sense. You have this
Ditto.
little thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. So if you haven't figured this out already, the reason why both of these ladies are so comfortable speaking about intimacy is because your podcast, Whoreible Decisions, is essentially all about sexual health, kinkies, and all the intimate things.
Yes.
And you guys have built successful careers in the media space off of this podcast and have been able to branch out. And both of you are respected in the space for building your platforms. And I would love to start with, where did Whoreible Decisions come from, the name? So I never do this, but this summer, I'm actually opening up 2 slots for private coaching to work one-on-one with me. And this specific opportunity is geared toward leaders who find themselves questioning their purpose and are unsure of what their next chapter in life will be. They're essentially at a crossroads and they want more out of life and are just tired of following the rules. They want to trailblaze their own path and live life on their terms without risking their credibility in the marketplace. Does this sound like you? Well, look, coming from corporate, I have over 2 decades of experience and I understand the sacrifices, the risks, darling. and the game that you're forced to play in order to be taken seriously or worse, accepted. You've worn the mask, dressed the part, talked the talk, and from the outside looking in, you've made it. Yet, you're unhappy. You don't want to fake it anymore, and deep down, you know that you're destined for more. I've trained over 20,000 leaders on how to use their uniqueness and their magic to build a life of influence, purpose, and freedom. A life where they don't need a vacation to escape or feel alive. A life that is exciting and peaceful at the same time. So if you're listening to this and it resonates and it's speaking to your heart and ready to transform your life, expand into the unknown, and explore the beautiful parts of you that have been hidden for far too long, I invite you to complete the application to participate in this private coaching opportunity. This is going to be super high touch, very white glove kind of experience. So once the 2 slots are taken, they're gone. So if you're interested, I will put the application link in the show notes. Make sure to apply, check that out. I can't wait to hear about your goals and where we are going to take your life next. So cheers to your renewed life.
I came up with the word horrible because I'm like pun obsessed, but I wanted to call it like a horrible night.
Because you're what obsessed? Plant obsessed?
Maybe no,
Pun. Excuse me.
Pun. Okay.
Pun obsessed. I
I
love a good
remember
pun.
just horrible being like you were just horrible, and I was like, there
But
gotta
not
be
like horrible,
Maybe
like
I just
horrible.
yeah, like
Maybe I really just wanted one word.
one word, and I was like, yeah, nah, like it gotta be something else. So literally, when we even came up with the name, we were running through. I came up with the decisions part, and I was like, but they're not horrible, like awful, like they're just sex experiences.
Yeah.
Sex decisions, like things that you
And
know.
it's funny because it didn't take long to come up with the name.
No, and then literally we came up with the name, and then here go my outline structured ass. Now, what are our segments gonna be? Because we need segments, and so we literally over dinner. Mind you, we were at dinner. I owed her
That
dinner.
place doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, I owed her dinner because she didn't have sex with someone I was sure she was gonna have sex with. So I bet her. I was like, bitch, I bet you give them coochie by December, and she literally didn't.
Hold on.
And so
I could pull this person up. Mandy swears I was gonna fuck him just to be
swore.
funny. He
I swore.
texts me every Happy New Year. How's the studio going? You hate me.
that's
All the-
Oh my
hilarious.
goodness.
No.
But swore that they were gonna have sex, and she didn't. So I was like, damn, I owe you dinner, but bitch, don't make it expensive. I said $150 limit, ma'am.
Tops. Tops.
And then we literally talked about the show there.
So interesting.
Yeah.
And how did you guys meet?
We met because I dated
were in
her
a
ex-boyfriend. We fought. Our first time meeting in person was
A fight.
and over a man that was working at Walgreens just a couple years ago. Like,
I really want to find him.
bro, we have to find him. Like, I know I don't want to bring exes on the
thank
show.
him
No,
bringing
but
you
I would
together.
literally,
That
that would
would
be
be
the only
good.
person that I'm like, bruh, because she swears they were still dating. And I was like, bruh, y'all
so
weren't
basically,
together.
we were on a break phase. We were 15, right? Mandy and I both.
Yeah, we were
And
young.
I had no idea that he had a new girlfriend because he was still engaging with me, just like men do, right? So we were fighting online or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, long story short, after the fight, I can't remember how we reconnected.
We had so many mutual friends
Oh, that's
that
it.
they couldn't believe that we didn't hang out because I guess everyone thought like we partied. We were a lot alike. We were both biracial. Like everyone was like, "Oh my god, how do y'all hate each other?"
Right.
Look at you with your black and white family.
And so we ended up hanging. We got on the phone. I think we ended up talking for hours,
Comparing stories about the guy.
everything. And then I ended up coming down to New York for a summer, where I stayed with her and ended up getting pregnant.
Not New York.
No, I mean Florida for a summer.
Where'd
I was
you
living in
live?
Atlanta by the time I had moved to Atlanta.
Okay, I don't remember that. But
Yeah.
anyway, you did get pregnant. But that was crazy because, like, when you think about the chaos, this is all before we're 18. So
We're 15.
Horrible Decisions that could have had stories based off of 15 to 18.
Yeah.
But I love that now we can tell these stories from young, these life lessons, these adult stories, even stories from yesterday or whenever. We literally had an episode right before you came in with someone who we were talking about our childhood sexual experiences with, you know, just learning your body and pleasure. So there's so many facets of Horrible. It's completely changed to what.
I mean, but not only that, when we first started the show, I was 26 years old, in college, navigating New York. I think I was only here for 4 years at that point, broke as a dog. Like, you know, like figuring it out. At 33, it's completely different. Like where my mind is. So over the last 7 to 8 years, people have been able to kind of grow with us in our navigation of our financial state, our careers, our love lives, our friendships. And so it's been cool for the audience to kind of have a peek into what that really is.
Yeah, they've been on the journey. One of the things I love is how transparent the both of you are and how detailed the both of you are.
We working on pulling that back.
I know.
We just said.
I feel like, you know what? See, it's every Latino bitch got a little bit of, they got a little witch in them. No, we literally were just talking about, are we sharing too much? Like,
literally,
Yeah.
that was our conversation.
Yeah. So, and I actually wanted to ask you guys about this because you have a platform that is controversial and you have a platform that many people wouldn't be comfortable speaking to the topics that you speak to publicly, right? And I want to know how and why you decided to live in your truth in this way, because there's so many people who are walking around this world aimlessly or following everybody else's rules, following someone else's agenda instead of deciding for themselves, like, no, this is the life I'm going to design. So where did that come from and what brought you to the decision to be like, you know what, I'm gonna live out loud in this way?
I want a nicer answer for you, but this is the answer I have, and I think it's like the only one I can give. I think we are in an era where people really want to be famous and noted for something they do. I really think Whoreible Decisions is good because we, one, have known each other so long that there's so much chemistry there, which is why for tough times, or even if, let's just say a guest doesn't show up, we can make an episode like that. It's because we know how to talk to each other. But I just don't think we tried hard. And it's truly authentic. I also didn't feel like I was talking to millions of people. I'm just talking to Mandii. Like, I actually still think that sometimes where I'm like, oh, I should take that out. Because no matter if we talk every day or not, I'm still just telling Mandii the story. I don't look at this like I'm performing. I really don't treat the podcast like that at all. To the point where I think it's hindered me in some aspects to where I started doing a TV show. I had trouble leading and hosting. Because I really just am, I'm going to do the show. And for myself, I think that has made it so easy because it was unintentional. I didn't like put forth this great effort to like be authentic. I just was doing something, you know? No video back then either.
I mean, yeah. And to me, I think it's like I figure out 8 Mile myself, you know, like in 8 Mile when Eminem came out and just said everything that he knew his opponent was going to tell about him. Like, I know the decisions I make, and I'm also very clear that what's done in the dark will come to light. I know that some people will be in my life for only seasons. And so however I show up, whatever anyone's experience is, that's their experience with me. No one's perfect. And I think I'm just fine in living in my imperfection and kind of growing and learning from my mistakes in front of everyone.
Even in the show, you got to think too, there's so many times where like we'll say something and we change our minds, but it's just age. You know what I mean? Like, you mature out of a certain
innocence. Also, I think leaves you a bit.
Well, I used to like hate feet. Now I put toes in my mouth. Like,
I think
there's
there's
progression.
One.
Oh no, therapy for sure. I've been in therapy for the last 3 years weekly. Very expensive, by the way.
But
that has gotten me to dig into like a lot of my traumas.
No, I was going to say you didn't like therapy at first.
Oh, that too. Oh yeah. If you go to like our first year, I used to think that anyone who went to therapy just didn't know themselves and needed someone to tell them who they were. And now I've been in therapy for 3 years, and it's just been so transformative to how I navigate communication and like literally my interpersonal relationships with everyone else. And it's also a mirror of how I can be a better person. And yeah, year one, I was like, bitch, therapy, y'all bitches just need someone to tell you who you are. Y'all don't know yourself. And so, yeah, that's another thing that's definitely changed over the years.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you guys were young when you first started the podcast.
I mean, 26.
20, yeah, but 26 the
Is that young?
decisions you
26
make at
and 33 is a big gap,
yeah.
actually.
I think so.
I don't think 26 is young though. Like if we started the pod at 22, like
Okay.
I even feel like that's a different jump. Like where I was in my sexual journey,
you know what?
at 22 is different than 26.
Because I think what made us not too young, we were in corporate workforce, and
were.
I feel like that kind of aged us.
yeah, that'll
Yeah.
definitely mature you up
That
real
made
quick.
me feel, but when I say it, I do say actually that I started Whoreible Decisions young too. Because now the way that I'm talking about sex, relationships, and dating slightly shifted. I was not saying I'm not emotional now, but the confusion about men and like the crying and I didn't realize it was desperation more than what it is now is a patriarchal thing. I have to be dating this type of person. I have to have a boyfriend. I have to have this. Like, I snap out of it, you know?
So what's really interesting about both of your stories is you both were in corporate and transitioned out into this media landscape. So how did you make that transition? A lot of our audience is in corporate who are aspiring to become an entrepreneur. Many of them have just left corporate and are trying to figure things out. And others are like, F corporate for life. I'm not working at all. So at what point did you decide that you no longer needed corporate and you were going to double down on you?
For me, we were doing live shows and I made my salary in 5 months with what we were doing. And so when I saw what I was able to make, I came from an accounting background. So I was at a Big Four and I was working 70-hour weeks, especially during like busy season. And so to me, I was like, wow, I'm giving someone else 70 hours a week. If I put that time into me, I wonder, what I could do. Now, to me, especially coming from a family that, didn't have money, a savings was a big thing for me. So I didn't just see that I made the money and quit immediately. I said I want at least a $10,000 savings account. And at the time, I wanted to buy all new furniture for my house. This was the first time that I was no longer living with a roommate. So I had 2 bedrooms and I had a whole house to myself. So that was the thing that I did before I completely quit my job. And so I would say I stayed for maybe 2 or 3 more months, put in my 2 weeks, did it the normal way still, because I didn't want any bad blood, and I quit. Ironically, though, 8 months later, the pandemic happened. So I was like, it was a Hail Mary. I ended up starting new
8
business.
months later.
8 months later. I quit in July. Whole world was shut down in March.
Damn, it felt like you quit way before that.
No, I quit in July of 2019.
I quit a little bit earlier.
You quit a little bit before me. You quit in like March or April.
Now, I had a bit of I had a sugar daddy that not when I quit, but for the first year of me living in New York, I paid no rent and I was given money by him to learn how to build a stock portfolio. And the more that I got good at it, the more he gave, because he just was very invested in me being able to do it on my own. So my savings was crazy. And to the point where I was super lucky to be able to do that. But my answer is pretty much the same. Like the trajectory of Whoreible was not as fast as a corporate climb. For me, I was account exec, sales engineer, working in telecommunications and data disaster recovery, shit like that, Salesforce type of stuff. And basically what was happening was, okay, if I stay at this job another 3 years, I'll get this promotion. Maybe I'll get an increase of this much money. Whoreible was going faster than that.
It was definitely going
so
faster.
I just knew sales, I'll just come back whenever. Honestly, all of my colleagues at the time were in their 40s and 50s. So because they were older, I'm like, this job lasts forever. I'll just come back if I had to. And so the leap of faith was a good one to take.
Especially when you have a sugar daddy.
Yeah. But he left me before.
Yeah, he wasn't even around.
He wasn't around. I just had a really good cushion and he taught me so much. Like the sugar daddy shit, it's funny because I don't even know if there's a bag he ever got me. He clothes and stuff, yeah, but like to not pay rent in New York for a year. By the way,
Right.
I got a few friends like that right now with guys. They're still spending too much. Like I was really diligent. Thank God I was responsible. Like I really did a good job at knowing like, oh, I'm not spending $2,500, and this is back then, $3,000 in rent. I'll put it away. Like literally was saving it. And yeah, I'm really grateful for that experience. And I think Mandii and I quitting though, people always want to ask us this question, but they don't realize we did the job and Whoreible for a long time.
For a long time. At least.
You don't quit your day job until
let me see
you
if I quit in still 2.5 years.
Yeah.
We did Whoreible for 2.5 years before we both quit our jobs. So, I mean, that's another thing. A lot of people get into podcasting just thinking it's going to be quick money. We spent money. Like, we didn't start seeing money until maybe a year and a half later. And that's even really quickly to see.
And it wasn't
profit.
a recoup.
No.
It was just seeing money.
Yeah.
But, I think what really helped us, I gave this advice on an episode of Earn Your Leisure where maybe I did this on a panel. But basically I said, Mandii and I make money so many different ways from Whoreible. And what's happening is now that I'm producing shows, celebrities are kind of just like, okay, well,
where's the ad dollars?
yeah. And they don't want to do more work. We know we have to do X, Y, Z to get there. And I think that's really what helped us.
Touring, merch, Patreon, and then advertising.
Yeah.
But before that, because I know Patreon is something new. That was
we've had Patreon since 2017.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We were one of the first.
We were one of the
pioneers.
first. Patreon looked at our model and how we was doing
things. Do you
things.
remember how I found out about Patreon? James, my friend James with the long hair that was in a cult, the white guy.
And I know, we looked into it.
Paid for a Patreon subscription for a podcast that was making $90,000. El Chapo Trap House.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you and Mandii, because I was complaining about how much we were spending. He's like, you and Mandii should do this. I think you guys have enough fans. And it was literally just so that we can cover costs, operating costs.
So literally too, and I won't be full with the numbers. We started in 2017. I think in year 1 of our Patreon, we only made $12,000. Year 2 shot up to 30,000. By year 3, over $100,000. And right now it's over $200,000. And we're just keep on climbing. So there's 6 figures coming in just from Patreon. But again, our first year, we were maybe seeing a couple hundred a month. It wasn't a lot.
And this is also work that we have to do. I understand that's a lot of money. But it's work that we have to do without the backing of Black Effect or iHeart because it's our separate entity. Not saying they wouldn't help with some extra shit. I'm just saying that's another avenue. So when people get a podcast deal, they may not want to do shit else, right? I mean, and even in the start of our Patreon, Mandii managed audio and editing, and I was shipping out merchandising, literally by hand, folding shirts, writing down addresses and names. Then it got too much. We had to start hiring a team. We really built from the ground up to where now to watch the landscape of podcasts, it's such an interesting game because I'm like, whoa, you guys have so much. Even these cameras, right? Just when you think about it, we would have video. They would have to piece the footage together. Now, one of our engineers here is pressing the buttons and it's edited by the time you get it.
Yeah. It wasn't like that back when we started.
Nah.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think attributed to the success of the podcast when you first started?
I mean, I think it was a little bit of the content at the time. It was fresh. There's a lot of other sex podcasts now, but at the time we were, definitely the only ones of color doing it. The only Black girls talking the way we were talking. I also think we had a really good and strong support system. I think by episode 3, the people that were around us in New York, I don't think this happens if we're in any other city, honestly, but the people around us were like, y'all are fucking great. Y'all, So I would say A King came by episode 3, which put us on the radar of Charlemagne and Chris Morrow over at Loudspeaker. And they didn't just sign us immediately. I don't think we even went over there for another year. But I think
because a lot of podcasts quit and they knew that. So they were waiting for Mandii.
They were waiting to see if we could make it last. Also, people often said, let's see what y'all can talk about after 100 episodes. There's not that much to talk about. Yeah. We have probably between Patreon and our regular episodes, over 600 episodes. Wow. We're at we're almost at 400 regular episodes. And then we drop weekly as well on our Patreon since 2017.
I would say though, when I think back, Charlemagne has a lot to do with this magnitude of our success, right?
Absolutely.
I think it would have taken a lot longer
without Charlemagne.
So the show is so good that it would have found people, but we got a good fast track. I actually don't even feel like we got a fast track. I feel like to get to Charlemagne, even it was these pieces of people, but
exposure, exposure. And
access. we went on Brilliant, which is again the cross promotion and what it can do for a show. We went on Brilliant Idiots. Literally by the next week, our views were up by 30,000 audio listens a week. Like we'd shot from 12,000 listens a month to maybe like 40.
This episode might have been like 5 years ago, and people still talk about it. But
yeah, 5, 6,
but
maybe 6 years ago.
People really, I don't know. It's what attributed to the sex. I still don't think there's a lot of sex podcasts. I still don't think they're Mandii and I for a few reasons.
Talk your shit, girl.
I just gotta be honest.
I mean, y'all sucking dick too, but
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Ooh, this is really good. You should know about this. So I don't know about you, but I've been known to procrastinate, especially when things scare the hell out of me. The fear alone would have me stuck, overwhelmed, confused, and all types of self-doubt. And don't even get me started on the imposter syndrome. Okay. After getting laid off, not once, but 3 times, honey, I realized that the security blanket that I made up in my head was just an excuse because I didn't really want to bet on myself. The corporate benefits that had me in that headlock, girl, they went out the window once my job decided that they no longer needed me.
Turns out that I'll save a whole nickel if I cut your salary completely.
The truth is, the only security blanket guarantee is the one that you create for yourself. In other words, until you start a business, you will always be at the mercy of a company's headcount, and you will never have complete control over your time, which means you'll be renting out your thought leadership and helping build someone else's dream instead of your own. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Don't you think it's time you stop playing small and tap all the way into your power, sis? Click on the link above or below this video to learn my 3-step process, the exact 3 steps that I took to make the transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. And this is helpful even if you don't know what type of business to start and have only one source of income. And this is absolutely free. It is my gift to you. I want you to win. It's winning season. In fact, what's that? It smells like winning season. Okay, so tap in and I'll see you inside the training. Let's go.
Mandii and I are not scared to debate with each other in a way that men can do and women don't do on podcasts. But at first, it was this thing where, maybe I never even said this to you, that I noticed this recently. It was this thing where it seemed like we had a lot of conflict. I'm not saying we don't sometimes.
because we do.
But when you really look at it, women do not challenge each other on duo shows because they're too close to friends and the opinions are shared too much. And Mandii and I literally can sit in front of each other and be like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm telling you this. and hold the argument down with very valid points. Maybe one's not wrong or the other, but understanding our opinions. I do not see women do that. I think that.
I mean, I think though that we also get the response from the audience in being able to see us do that. They automatically think, oh my God, I can't watch this. There's tension. Oh my God, one person is a bully over the other. Oh my, and it's because they're not used to seeing women just, have banter or debate in that way. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, that we could have a difference of opinion.
That's happened towards the last few years of the show where we can really do it well. In the beginning of the show, I think it was truly because Mandii and I told stories that people were not telling about their own lives. Very shamelessly, honest.
Yeah.
They weren't sex stories from, I'm not saying we haven't done sex work, but they weren't porn stars. They weren't IG. It was just these normal girls with office jobs. And that allure to being able to have a crazy sex life but still have the same job as anyone else. You normally think when you hear a girl getting flown out and shit like this, maybe she's a bottle girl.
No, but I was a whole accountant at a Big 4 firm. Literally staying out to all hours of the night and going from the club to H&M for my outfit for the day at work and sleeping at my desk until everyone started coming in.
Those were the days.
The days.
I was recently having this conversation playing like a card game with my partner, and it was like, if you can go back to a year in your life, what would it be? And I was like, oh my God, the first year in New York. Do you remember the time I was fucking that Swiss banker and we randomly had a threesome with the girl that was just sitting down in the restaurant?
I mean,
like this?
That sounds like you've done that a lot.
No, but like, what was his name?
I remember a Swiss banker. Was that the one who went to jail for a white collar crime? Wasn't he embezzling?
No, it was another. Yes!
The embezzling guy.
But it was crazy because it was such a New York story. I'm living on 54th and 8th. It was called The Mark with this apartment building that's grandiose. I mean, big windows. It was insane. And I have this sugar daddy who never shows up or wants to be there. And I'm just living my life, dating all these guys on Tinder. I'm dating
a DJ, a restaurant guy, a ball player's brother.
But I've never seen Euro guys. We're from Florida. So the white guys we have are very like racist. but they just are. Or they have that very like standard American look. I'm starting to see white men that don't speak English. I'm like, what's going on? So I just had such a wild year. And it's not the sex. It was how good I felt about the sex. I remember having crazy sex, going to work and being excited to tell the story and just feeling amazing and free and beautiful. And also making money that I could do things with. I can go shopping for a little outfit at Forever 21 or Zara and get excited to go out Friday night and like take myself to a happy hour. And I hadn't really felt that freedom. And New York is such a special place because it literally makes you feel like you're home when nothing else is home. People make you feel like that. The irony of people saying New York is like,
no, I love New York. I love it.
Oh, people make me feel like they're giving me a hug even when they talk to me rough in New York.
I got a whole chapter now that's going to be about, I also feel like our sexuality and the way we were able to explore it, we only were able to do that because of New York.
Yeah.
Like literally.
I was a hoe in Florida, but not like this.
Yeah, no. Literally, like I have literal friends that we go and have birthday dinners. They own sex clubs and dungeons. Like, so like I've been able to experience a sex dungeon through just my friend that I met through another friend at Verlaine drinking $8 martinis. You know what I mean? So like New York offers that sensibility of like, you could literally do whatever you want and not everyone has to come back to your home, but you just get to explore and everyone is just kind of free here.
Mm-hmm.
You're also not the crazy one. My ex-girlfriend, when we were living in Orlando, she said something to me that made me feel insecure for years. She said, in a fight with me, and we're still friends to this day and we dated after, but she was like, you don't know how hard this is. Like everybody always asks me why I'm dating you and they think you're crazy and they think you're wild and like they just think you're this wild girl. And I'm like, but you be doing the same shit with me. We go to raves together, we do this. And I thought to myself, what is it about me? Am I too extroverted? Like, because she's right. You did the same things with me, but people do have this opinion of me. In New York, no one thinks like that.
Nope.
I could walk in a bar, start talking about how I got fucked in the ass and it was slipping out. Or maybe now I'm like, no one's really gonna, oh shit, okay.
New York allows me to be 33 with no kids and no one questions me. Like, why?
Not the New York love story.
Love it.
And it does smell like pee, you guys.
It sure does.
It's worth it. We love to get peed on.
Walking this neighborhood, like I also have another studio I film in, and every time I walk over here, it's always an experience. Because there's so much shenanigans.
You got to keep your head on the
west
swivel.
side over here, it is too much. But I'm giggling as I'm listening to you guys because my audience, they not ready. They not ready for this, okay?
This isn't their cup of...
They're not ready.
How did he say tea?
They're not ready for this bonchiche.
Sorry for the
that we got here on
bonchiche.
the show. I'm so excited. Y'all going to be grabbing your edges. I can't wait for the
Oh my
comments.
goodness. Sorry, y'all.
But I want to talk about business partnerships because both of you have been candid about the fact that you don't see eye to eye all the time, but you've been able to work through that. And I think women specifically have a hard time with separating business and personal, and or have a hard time seeing the bigger picture where they are able to process the emotions but still get shit done. And I think the both of you have been able to do that. So what is your advice for those who are seeking partners in business? What should they be looking for? What is the assessment process like? And also, what do you do when shit hits the fan?
I mean, shit hit the fan for me with another business partnership. For me, what you should look for in a partnership now, like what I've learned is to really see what your partner is strong in. How do they do business?
How do you know that?
So that's what I'm saying. You have to know before you get into a partnership.
Oh, no, that's a good question, though.
So to me, there would be, and maybe not just jumping right into business with a partner at all. I don't know. Like, I'm to the point now where everybody getting a 1099. I don't know if I'll ever have a partnership again without just paying someone outright for whatever they're doing for me. However, I think whether you take a test, whether you really see how they navigate where they're at now currently, whether they have a job, do they show up on time? What is their role at that job? And maybe actually having the conversation. What do you really like to do? What things are you strong in? What things do you absolutely hate? I think those conversations aren't had enough with partners to where you go into a partnership and it's split 50-50, right? So you assume we got to split this work 50-50. Well, that's not realistic. That just absolutely is not realistic, and it's not going to happen that way, especially if you're unaware with the shortcomings or what the strengths are of your partner. And so you have to go in knowing that. I also would highly, highly recommend not to go into business with a friend unless you are willing to lose the friendship, the business, or both. I think, and that's where when there's a strong friendship, or when someone maybe wants the grace of showing up less than the other person, they lean more into the personal relationship. And so I feel like that's where it gets muddied when there's that dynamic between personal and business, because a lot of people, it's hard to separate the two. And so if someone isn't showing up in business and you're talking to them, they're going to take it personal as an attack, knowing, you know what I mean? So I would advise not to do it. And I think that's what helps.
I feel like this is a little too fresh for you, buddy.
I mean, I think that was. I mean, I didn't expect you to be here, Mandii. Wait, was that not?
I lose it. The fresh.
Yeah, it's like, fuck that. Don't partner with nobody.
But you know what's crazy? I've been actually saying that. B. Simone and Meg from the Know For Sure podcast literally sat in front of us and they loved each other on the couch. And I was like, ooh, I really hope that this stands the test of time. And that show ended as well. Like, there's a lot of public breakups that we've seen from the music industry and trickling down, especially in the entertainment space. And we don't know all of the breakups with everyone in business, but you can look them up. I know, like, Adidas, there was a split. Apple, there was a split. Nike, there's been different changes.
Right.
It's really hard to maintain a business and keep a personal friendship.
I would say on the other side for me, Mandii and I haven't been buddy friends since we were early 20s. So, yeah, it's easier to be more diplomatic.
With us, yeah.
When I made WTF Media, Alex and I were at the point where we're hanging out every day, right? Now, we're born one day apart, and I believe in astrology and Pisces emotions. We've gotten in one big fight with the studio a year ago? Maybe 2 years ago. And he said something in the fight that shocked me. He and I didn't talk to each other for like a month, and no one knew, none of the staff. We were kind of getting a little weird with each other, but basically it was a completely emotional fight. And I don't believe you can separate business and personal at all. I think that the thing about entrepreneurship is that you're not working for a corporation. So because you're not working for a corporation, you're supposed to have some feelings and some emotion and some compassion. Like, maybe, I don't know, 3 years of doing WTF Media, I've had 5 times an employee ask me for money early than their paycheck time. And every single time I've given it. Because to me,
Same.
What the fuck is the perk of you working for a small business that can't help you when there's probably shit you're doing that's a little bit extra, but it's a small business, so we're figuring it out. So anyway, with Alex, in this fight, remember we came to LA, we talked, we were in the studio together, and he's like, yo, I'm so mad, I'm so tight, like, that we're going through this issue that I don't need this studio. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, I don't want to make another one. I don't want to work. I don't want to keep working. And I was like, wow. That let me know, like, yes, it is tied together. You know, like, you do have to have some sort of, not even friendliness more than, I don't even want to use the word respect. It's more of like a...
It's definitely respect. I think there has to be respect for each other.
I think you can respect someone, and it has to be semi-friendly, like a camaraderie almost. And you have to be excited to do this business, because even if there's respect there, you've still got to be able to speak to each other, got to be open. Like, it's dead ass emotional. I don't know if you can really separate business and personal.
She a Pisces. I ain't that emotional. My feelings can be cut the fuck off. It's black and white with me.
She is lying, because
She's
I've
such
been hearing
a-
her chit chat, and I don't know, girl.
Mandii, whenever you get mad at me, in the last 2 years, I would say, your reasoning is a very emotional one, which I'm open to listening to, because that's the language I speak.
Cap. Cap. That is cap. Oh, that is cap.
Don't listen to her.
Don't,
Listen,
y'all
if anyone
listen
listens
to
to
her.
Whoreible Decisions on here, you see how Mandii be
That's
crying?
cap.
Mandii,
Cap.
girl, please, you emotional. But I would actually say my one thing for partnership advice, Will Smith, Mandii and I actually were both there.
Yes.
And it's crazy. So I'm there. Mandii was there. It was a Bad Boys screening. And it was with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. So very lucky to be there. Alex and I got invited, but Mandii was also invited too. Will Smith mentioned...
Separately, because you know I got my own invites.
Like, it's okay. So anyway, Will Smith
playing.
said something about him and Martin, and he was
Yes.
like, "Oh, he knows how to make me look great. I know how to make him look great." And he said, "We surrendered our egos."
The surrendering of ego.
Alex is sitting on my left, Mandy's down there towards the right, and I literally was thinking, like, wow, that is something I've had to practice a lot. In the podcast, it's different because you shine, you're doing your personalities. But in the studio specifically, I have to be wrong a lot because this technical shit I don't know. And I have to be honest when I'm not right. I have to really not feel like I'm not worthy. The sweat equity that we've poured into this business is very imbalanced because when we're building a new location, I really don't do anything but find it. This is his job. However, when we need to do partnerships, pay bills, pay employees, do anything, invoicing, I feel like he don't know how much the lights is. And that shit used to bother me sometimes. But I got a lot of nerve saying that when it exists because you built the shit together. So it's acknowledging the strengths and knowing that, oh, I really can't do this without you.
See, she said the same thing I said, just differently. Acknowledging the strengths and the weaknesses of, and I think that that's very important in partnership. Like, but you're aware.
But you can know someone's done something and have a chip on your shoulder about it.
Yeah.
You have to really
You have to know how to communicate.
You have to really be able to celebrate someone's strengths.
Yeah.
More than belittle their weaknesses.
Agreed.
If someone's not good at something and it's been a while, maybe,
See them for who they are.
yeah, like it is what it is. I've learned that about myself. I've learned a lot of my own flaws that I've had to accept. I'm good at a lot of shit and I'm bad at a lot of shit. But surrendering the ego, that's Will Smith, not us.
Yeah.
So what about this partnership in particular has allowed for the both of you to not be like, fuck it, I'm walking away from
Oh no,
this?
that's been said many times.
I'm
here.
sure it has been said,
To me,
but
I say it all the
hasn't
time.
happened.
When we specifically, even when we go on tour, our brand, while it's very salacious, very wild, very raw, we've actually changed lives, believe it or not, by sharing our stories. To me,
It's a lot of sexual education
And liberation.
and,
There's
liberation and giving women permission to
Yes.
explore themselves and embrace themselves.
and so to me, every time we've gotten upset with each other or, felt like this was the last straw, we don't want to do it anymore, we've realized that what we've created is actually bigger than the both of us. And so we've surrendered our ego
Yeah.
to the brand. Like who we are, yes, we are both alphas. We both, have our egos and think very highly of each of ourselves and know that we're both capable of creating things outside of the brand. But I think our audience, our community, and knowing the work that we're doing keeps us doing it. I know, right when I think I'm done and I want to give this up, we go back on the road and people are crying, telling me that they got the gastric sleeve because of me, or that their friends also are battling cancer, and like the stories that they are able to hear outside of, yes, us sucking dick, from time to time. It's more about like our journeys and them seeing themselves in either of us. And sometimes they might see themselves in me and might switch and be like, I'm more like Weezy now. And so it's being able to feel seen. And so this is bigger than us.
I would say if it's not money or fans, because that's it, truth be told, money and fans is why we stay, right? The thing that makes this partnership easier for me than it has over the years is what we create is truly Mandii and I. There's not a, what's the word? When something's off.
A scale?
Unbalanced.
Okay, there's not an imbalance in the creative output. We've had so much content that we've made that's amazing, and I see it is like literally both. In the beginning, when we first started, people would pit us against each other a lot, and they would say things about who was better than the other.
And I think that's because we were women. I think innately people put women against each
not
other.
so much more like they did before. Right now, it maybe someone will say, I don't like Weezy because she do this, but before they would directly be like, this one's better than the other, do it without this one. I would see that a lot in the beginning, right?
Yeah, I don't see that as much anymore.
It's something
they
at
just
the
don't
beginning.
like me. They be like, damn, Mandii, shut the fuck up.
but they come back every week. So.
And they do.
Hello.
And they do.
But when that happened, there were moments, and this is just me being totally honest, where I thought, when I would be angry, can I do a podcast by myself? Now, seeing what we make, it is 100% 50-50. I just said it on the episode with Meryl. I see so much of these moments where it's just Mandii. This episode, Mandii took it over, or Weezy took it over, or even if it's just both of our energy. And it's not the same when we have a guest host. It's just not. They're good. Like, we still do our thing. Mandii and I don't make money outside of each other because we whack. But this partnership itself is truly a creative chemistry and connection that is irreplaceable. And I literally was thinking, we maybe talked about this once or twice. I was like, if Whoreible
You heard
Decisions...
that, Mandii? She said you irreplaceable.
Bitch, I know.
Bitch, acknowledge it to me.
I ain't surrendering to my ego right now.
Mandii,
Bitch, I know.
if I died...
Can we not put that energy out? Hello.
you have
Didn't
replaced
we
me?
talk about words?
Seriously.
No, bitch. Calm down.
Well, we're all gonna
We're
die.
sitting next to a witch you just said. Calm
Oh my
down.
God.
Let's not
We're
put...
all gonna die.
I'm not
if
a
I died.
Santeria. Okay.
No,
What would
no
you do?
Santeria. See, come
That
on,
is not
Spanglish.
what-
Girl, what if you turned into Alex Cooper if I died? What
I'm
if
not
the
playing
shit
with you.
blew up?
I'm not playing with you.
What if they were like, damn, she got
I'm not
me
even
that bitch.
entertaining that conversation.
Nah, but I used to think
I already just be worried about you
The
getting
both
pregnant.
of you are irreplaceable, okay?
me pregnant on
I
Whoreible is
already
gonna be
told her
lit.
she gonna have to sit with her belly and all. We gonna be on tour. She gonna have to have it
That's
cut
gonna
out.
be incredible content.
Girl, I thought so too. My man was like, what you mean you gonna be on the road pregnant? I was like, the first 7 months.
Women work when they pregnant.
I think I completely agree. But there is something about this era of the podcast, like being about sex, and no one else I'm sure goes through this, but girls talking about sex, when it's done, is a conversation a lot. Not him, I'm saying, just people in my life. Oh, when you have a family, when you're done with Whoreible. People say that to me a lot because I want children. Oh, when you're married and you're done with Whoreible, like, bro, the evolution of our show would include shit like that. Can you imagine if we've been talking about this stuff the whole time and I got pregnant and didn't do the show? How can I not tell you about what my body is doing? That's literally the purpose of the shit. So it's strange to me that everybody does that. Sometimes even my mom, will you still do this if you're... Yes. Like, I want to breastfeed on a final episode or some shit.
Jesus.
What? Viral. Viral moment. Okay. I know that both of you have places to be and
Yes.
people to do, darling. But I want to talk about money management because the both of you have built these incredible careers and are managing a lot of money that necessarily wasn't available to you before. So how are you managing your money? Are you seeking counsel? Like, did you go and blow a bag, multiple bags? Like, how are you keeping it together to make sure, like, it comes in and stays in versus go out?
Now, I didn't get the education from a sugar daddy or my family. My family.
Well, I know you an accountant background.
Yeah,
too, so.
I mean, an accounting background is very different, though. Like, I did taxes for people, so yay, I pay my taxes on time.
No, when we
And I know how to
became
do
friends
that.
again, you were telling me how you were using a spreadsheet.
Oh
to
no,
budget.
I'm very good. Well, and I budget like even us, bitch. I gotta tell you why we can't pay ourselves the next 2 months because we got a big payout coming. But like, I manage. Like, I enjoy managing money. To me, it was important to have the things that I knew I wanted from corporate. So I maximize and put the max into my 401k every year. So my 401k is over 6 figures right now. I don't know anyone in my family with a full 401k in real life. I have another high yield account that I'm putting towards to buy a house. So I want to be able to walk and have at least $80,000 to put down. I'm $20,000 away from that. And then I just got an M1 account, which goes into the markets. So that's like my investment portfolio. So I have money that, to me, as long as I can't see it, it's there. And I know it's there. But to me, it's important not to see it or I'll spend it. So I'm really big with putting my money in places that are at arm's reach. Like for my high yield account, it's Ally. I can pull it out whenever I want to, but it's a completely different app, completely different place to store my money. Right. It's not in my Chase accounts. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's about putting money, letting it grow, but letting it go sit somewhere because I don't need it right now. And if I see it, yeah, I'll spend it. So it's about putting it in places that I know will grow. And again, investing in myself. So for a lot of the brands and things that I've done outside of this, like my studio, that bringing in revenue and just making everything that I make in terms of business a revenue generating business somehow.
Mm-hmm. As far as bank accounts, my ideology has been the same, like not seeing it. I did have a lot of my answers are the same because I do the same thing. The only thing I do slightly differently is I have an AI trader on Charles Schwab that helps me with stocks. So something that happened to me during the pandemic, I made mad money from stocks, 6 figures. But after a while, that changed. Yeah, and it was very hard to not keep up with it, but basically like, yeah, I guess keep up with it, or what do you sell?
diversify it or
So the
resell it.
AI trader has been so useful because Charles Schwab's does it for free, and it'll basically place your money in certain places. You could say how much you want going to futures, stocks, or whatever it is, or even if you like a certain type of stock, whether it be tech or whatever. That's helped. The only other little tip I would give that I've really enjoyed is I've been, oh my God, this is crazy because I didn't even realize it, but like I had been saving money in accounts and ripping the paper on where they were. They are in a locked password in my phone. There's 5 bank accounts that I have. One is like a Ninja Trader that Ian Dunlap told me about. Shout out to the master investor. Random banks, Fidelity, shit like that. And it's like rainy day shit. And they're high yield savings.
Yep.
But literally, I don't know where they are. I don't look at them. Like the paper's somewhere, but I don't. And it's really that if you can't see it type shit. There's a few
And make
apps.
sure you just put it in somewhere where it is growing. So the high
When
yield
you're
is
making money.
like-
And I know that's hard
yeah.
for people that may not have extra. So it's like, we're lucky to be able to do this.
No, this is yeah.
But also, what I'm really trying to drive home here is like women of color who are coming across a lot of money. You know what I mean? You've started a $1 million company. Mandii, you're fucking killing it. So it's large sums of money that traditionally we are not taught how to manage or what to do when we come across that type of money. So I really want to help people see what are the resources and tools, or what's the game, like what's the strategy,
it's
what's the
also
tips?
helping your family. Like when I started getting money, even during the pandemic, I paid off my mom's car. She had probably about a year left in payments, so I paid that off for her. And then I started chipping away at her credit card bills. And we were really like, okay, if you don't have debt or now you don't have a car note, let's figure out where you can place this money. And so it's also teaching the people around you as well and helping them get debt free.
And it's also hard too because I had lent a lot of money out and I really became a crutch where I wasn't given the tools. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
teaching my friends like how to make some side money, have a side hustle, shit like that. Mandii and I hire our friends a lot for stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
I try to give bread, like, especially in the studio too, just showing love to people that have been working for a bit. If I can get them some extra cash, doing a gig, whatever. But there's one other tip. If you have good discipline, I have made so much extra money, saved so much money by credit card deals. Delta Amex, being able to save
hell
money.
yeah.
I'm telling you, getting into the right company with the right, even remember you were like, I don't want to have a credit card because we're forgetting to pay it. You remember that?
No, it wasn't the credit card, but you wanted that 100,000 SBA loan or something.
No.
Oh.
Specifically,
Because I was like, girl, what if we break up? I don't want to have this debt, girl.
No, we had an Chase Business
Yeah.
Unlimited Inc. card, right? Mandii and I were sending out merchandise, maybe spending $5,000 a month on
It
merch.
was way too much.
And I'm like, bro, we need a credit card. And she's like, no. Then one of us is going to have to put our social down and blah, blah. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. Bro, we had so much cash that you could send back from what you're spending. And like, it did take some managing, but I'm obsessed with that. My father is terrified of credit. He never wanted me to have a credit card. He never wanted me to do that. He never wanted me to be in debt. However, when you really learned how to use credit, bitch, free money constantly. Alex literally won't spend money on the studio unless we do it on a credit card, one of ours, because that's how much you get back.
Yeah.
So I've just really taken advantage of that and learning the game. And I realized too, it's tough because when I'm at the point when I was living paycheck to paycheck, none of this matters. None of this shit and this advice we're giving matters. You have to get to a decent place to use this stuff. When you're struggling, this is like deaf ears. And I hate when people used to tell me shit like this because I'm like,
It was impossible.
bitch, what the fuck am I supposed
I'm
to put
working to
away?
pay bills.
Like it's tough. But once you get a little cushion, then that's what rich people do.
Yep.
They use millions to fucking save it and make it. The fact that millionaires, billionaires don't use money to buy homes, cash, is crazy to me. They get mortgages, bro, because of inflation. So all that to say, I am very aware that this is coming from a privileged place. The advice I'm giving is to someone that's got some decent savings and, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. I appreciate you being here with me, and please continue to operate in your truth and just fucking kill it, because you got people like me who are like taking notes and being like, you know, kind of the aspirational piece, I think, is super important. And I think what I love about you both and the example that you are putting out there is like, women can be dope at the same damn time.
And can.
Okay.
Now, if y'all want to listen to dick sucking and not no inspirational shit, you come on over to us.
Every Monday, check out Whoreible Decisions. Type in whore. We pop up. That's WHOREIBLE.
But individually,
Yes.
where can people find out more about you guys?
At Full Court Pumps everywhere.
I'm Weezy, WTF Online.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
guys. And shout out to all of you for tuning in. I cannot wait to read your comments. So make sure you put it down below in the show notes. And I'll see you on the next one, guys. Mi gente, I need your help. Look, the real game behind podcasts is we need to really understand our demo, aka you, our audience, so that when we go out to sponsors who help us put on this amazing show and deliver this content to you, that they can clearly understand who we serve and what is significant to you and what you value. And the only way for us to get that information is for you to give it to us. So we just created this survey. I'll put it in the show notes. It will take you less than 3 minutes, literally, but it will be so helpful for us to get a better understanding of what it is that you care about, what's important to you, what do you value, so that when we're out in these streets trying to secure the big bag and get sponsors for this show, they know exactly who our audience is and what you care about. So we can bring you the best products, we can bring you the best organizations that are out here serving the cultura, the community, you. So please take a moment and fill out the survey. I'll link it in the show notes. Appreciate you.
Let me make it claro.
Look,
Let me be very claro.
claro.
Sometimes I feel like I've run into some people that say we've been messaging for a long time and they're content creators. And it always surprises me when you don't choose a good, like, or recognizable name or photo, because it's like, how was I supposed to know it's you? You got a tree, bitch. Like,
Right.
what
Not
the
you got a
fuck?
tree.
I've been talking to you this long. I've met so many people like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's you? So I think like you've got it right. You've branded your shit and I like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you're going to love the next one. So make sure to click right here and tap in to the next episode.